He gonna and we are live.
Focus Up Show every Saturday, 9 a.m.
Tap in or tap out.
Greetings and salutations, Focus Up family. Welcome to the March 1823 episode of the Focus Up Show. We thank you for tuning in with us live and every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. and catching up with us on replay, and ask that you click that like, subscribe, that bell, and share and support and maintain your weekly Focus Up fix. I am Mr. Nice Guy, nice as in the word saint spelled backwards, and my co-host, as always, the lovely First Lady J.
Morning.
Star of Sex Walk with Talk, Sex Talk with Walk, Mr. Walk. You on mute, brother. And we normally have the infamous El Poo. He's out today, but what we have is our guest here, Victor Freeman, who is the author of the book Bone, who's going to be joining us, and always in the background, in and out, is the brother Floyd X. So let me first off saying, First Lady, how are you doing today?
I'm great. Excuse the mask. I woke up with an abscess this morning, but I didn't want to miss the show. So here I am. I hope you are well as well.
Oh, very well. We appreciate you coming in and holding it down. And Walk, what's going on with you, brother?
First is called Sex Talk with Walk. That's every Thursday, 9 a.m. My bad, 9 p.m. on the Focus Up Network. I'm doing good. I'm wired, bro. You know what? We had the Friday Night Live show last night, and I'm still drunk. Leave me alone, Mr. Nice Guy. Watch out, motherfucker.
and Victor Freeman, brother. Now let me just say, this is a brother that I've known for a very long time, mostly over the internet. But I mean, this is one of those true simpatico souls that I connect with. This is a good dude. How you doing there, brother, today?
I'm doing very well, man. Thanks for the very gracious introduction there. Just trying to deal with this Chicago weather right now. It's about 90
Yeah, we don't know nothing about that out here in LA. But hey, Floyd X, click my heels 3 times. Where you at, man? Well, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, brother. I'm out here in Sacramento doing what I do, all good.
Holding it down. That's the man. That's the man with the plan, the guy behind everything, for sure. So let's pivot to some in the news. So in the news, we're gonna talk about Ciara. Now, I don't know if anybody saw. Well,
Ciara butt naked.
Go ahead, Walk.
Ciara was bucket naked. That's naked. She asshole naked right there with a good man. Bad look, baby girl. Not cool. And I seen pictures of y'all in the church praying like y'all done got the Holy Ghost. Is that the Holy Ghost? I'm sorry. That's Jesus. He's telling me shut up.
You got to take on that, First Lady.
Yeah, that was Jesus.
I feel like it was tasteless, especially for the occasion. To me, that was like stripper attire. And, you're supposed to be a queen. You're supposed to be a lady, a queen with her king next to him. I'm surprised that he was not able to talk her into putting on something much more appropriate. And we're wondering why these young girls are out here dressing the way they dressing and behaving the way they're behaving, because they're looking up to people like them. They're like, well, if they can do it, I can do it too. So they feel like it's okay. This was an huge event, and you might as well just came out with your birthday suit on.
Hey, so Victor, you got any take on this? How'd you feel about that outfit? Do you think it was appropriate?
Appropriate. I mean, it's not something that it's not a dress that I would be a fan of. It's like my wife kind of pulled that out and was just like, hey, I'm going to show up at a show with me. But do I feel one way or another about her? If he's okay with it, I'm okay with it because he has to go home with her. So, and my feelings are that's none of my business.
Nah. I disagree. I disagree.
That's
Wait,
my position.
Hey, that's my take. I'm gonna let Walk go, but that's my take. You basically took my take, so he's gonna jump on you like he would jump on me. Go ahead. Nah.
Look, they are role models, believe it or not. That's a bad look. She looked just butthole naked for no reason. And she with her man, and they coming out there for what? To promote what? And they got this image of like, we're so a good couple and we're a power couple. That's a bad look for black people. It was not cool whatsoever. And I know that's their business, but they are representing black folks. And it was a bad look. She put some damn clothes on, baby mama, future baby mama. Come on, man.
Like I stated, like it's definitely not a dress that I'm a fan. However, how many people that we see put up a facade that things look really perfect, and then we know like it's not the way that it's supposed to be. I mean, Will Smith done been Will Smith done been like persecuted like the past year or so, and he's always been considered Mr. Nice Guy, and he lost it, off of a comment that a comedian made. The image thing, I definitely get you. I hear where you're coming from, Walk, but at the same time, if he's okay with it, and I'm talking about Mr. Russell Wilson, then who am I to say like what you're doing is wrong? At the very least, they've been together. They seem to be happy, and that's the thing that I feel like should be promoted the most.
See, my thing on this is that I always say that we got this forbidden fruit thing about the human body. I think that if we didn't really sort of like it, make it so taboo, we wouldn't be so amped up about it. I mean, to me, I want us to be desensitized to that type of thing. That's why, I don't think it's the best look, but we always talk about Adam and Eve and stuff like that. I mean, fig leaves was, what I'm saying? I'm not, now obviously not people believe in that stuff, but I'm just saying that if you do, nudity obviously wasn't the issue because, it didn't start off with the clothes. So I'm just saying that, at the end of the day, the human body is beautiful. It's natural. We shouldn't be so taboo. We cover up the chest. A lot of countries don't even do that. I remember going to Japan and on regular TV, they're just boobs, just out. So, it's
that's what makes each country different. There has to be a difference, in the world. They're closed for a reason. Like you said, we all can have our own opinion, but you have children out here watching these things, and you wonder why these kids are behaving and veering off a certain way. Look at the pattern of adults, parents, and Walk mentioned about them representing Black women. True enough, I give them that, but just women in general. We're supposed to walk like a lady, think like a lady, and act like ladies inside the house and outside the house. What you do in the bedroom is one thing. Basically, it's like she had on pretty much nothing. It was it's okay if they're okay, but we can voice our opinion on what we think. Just imagine you sitting up there in your family room and you're watching TV, and then your kids, and you got to cover their eyes like. Yes, you're going to tell your kids about the human body, but we are not in the motherland right now. We are
I was thinking about Shaka Zulu too, but those are good points. I mean, it's really about the venue, but we don't want to. Go ahead, Walk. What were you about to say?
She is a few kids' mother. Like, watch this. Check this out. Amber Rose is going through this. Her son, the one she had with Wiz Khalifa. He getting in the fights in school for her Instagram account. Could you imagine going to school and somebody like, look at your mom showing that E word? Yeah, not cool. Yeah, you somebody's mother. And look at this. Look what I found. These are Russell Wilson's. Watch out. These are Russell Wilson's huevos. Ciara got them. Ciara
I-
got him.
Let me ask this question.
With-
If, with Ciara, and I'm not taking away what you just said, Walk. I think you make a good point there, especially with the fact that you have, they have offsprings, and then we all know what that's like being a kid, and then someone saying something about
That's
like
gonna be
your mom,
brutal.
about your mom. That's like that's like fighting words. So that was a good point. But is it the bigger stigma with which has followed Ciara with the fact that she is Future's ex baby mama, and the kind of like loyalty that has followed Future, and just the existence of the fact that people think that Russell Wilson is a simp? Do you feel like, do you guys believe that that's a part of it as well? Because
No. What's a part
okay.
of it? She was rescued from the land of thoughts. She was rescued by Russell Wilson, a good man, and she doing this crap, making him look bad. That's a bad look, man. Nah, he looked. Come on, bro. Check your bra, bro.
So it's not that. The rescue. Yeah.
First
Rescue.
lady, what you about to say?
You ain't heard nothing from her since My Goodies. Stop playing. Rescued. Go ahead.
So would it be okay? Not okay. What would you guys' thoughts be if that's how she showed up at church on his side?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, it's
That's
a
a problem.
Why?
It is a
Why is
problem.
that a problem? Why? Why is that a
It's
problem?
because it's going to create so much. It's going to create so much chaos in the church. It's not like I think that that's like disrespectful to God as much as it's kind of disrespectful to this congregation, because they're going to feel a certain way about it. But it's I will say that the church is a little bit different than Academy, but you're right, it's a professional event. And I mean, hey, Walk killed it when he talked about the child, because I'm telling you right now, as kids, we would have bodied that kid like, oh bro, your mom.
Shut up.
Lady J, to your to what you're asking, there's a thing in business where it's emphasized that you have to know your audience. So maybe.
I think we lost you, but I think we got the point where you're going with.
Adam's on. Yeah, get his ass out of there. Anyway, it was nice meeting you, Victor. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So we get you back.
I lost you guys. So what I was saying is, you have to know your audience. All right. So a venue like a award show versus going to church, those are two different arenas. So if you don't have the wherewithal to understand that there would be this difference between how you would dress going here versus there, that's a bigger issue. All right. In my opinion. But so of course, no, I wouldn't feel comfortable with my wife or someone like that showing up at church. However,
did that fully answer your question, First Lady?
It answers it enough. Now, because our people don't know how to show up at shows and act right. First, now they don't know how to dress, and it's just making everybody going. One person reflects all of us in other people's eyes. Okay, now let's move on out of the news.
So we done with in the news. We want to get straight to the yes. We'll talk about we lost a big actor, a great actor, a great part of a great show, The Wire, The Matrix, Lance Reddick, at 60, that's tough. I mean, this dude was an awesome actor, awesome person, and it's just a tragedy. 60 is way too young.
It ain't young, but I mean, that's right around the corner for me.
Age hater.
Hey, that's right. 60 is right around the corner for me. You know what I mean? But it's a terrible loss. I like that guy. He was a good actor. He was in a lot of stuff as well. But but 60 is kind of like I ain't gonna say young, but damn, 60. We know people that's 60 years old. Tony Boyd, no, he's not. Because rest in peace.
And then also Bobby Caldwell, who I may or may have not known was not black.
Superb. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just saying rest in peace to both of them. We have a lot going on the show. So
Yeah,
Wait,
so
hold on. You ain't gonna just glaze over Bobby Caldwell. I listened to this dude for the last 2 days. I'm talking about I put him on his whole catalog, and it was a bunch of songs that I didn't even know he sung, but you've been hearing them your whole life. What you won't do, you do for love, Dr. Love. Focus up. I mean, Sex Talk with Walk every Thursday at 9 a.m. 9 p.m. Check me out.
That's right. That's right.
I
All
want
right.
$5 for every time you promote.
All right. So Vic, your mic is muted. So hey Victor. So all right. So now we're gonna pivot to our first topic. So we have Victor Freeman today because we want to talk about his book that he wrote. You know, sorry about that. My thing fell down. But give me one quick moment. Sorry about that. Dealing with technical difficulties. I apologize. But all right, like I said, Victor is a brother that I met, through social media, and he grew up with one of my closest friends, Leroy Henry. Shout out. They grew up, in Park Hill. This is where, like, Wu-Tang, a lot of these cats. I mean, they know these cats. I mean, I've been to shows where they pulled Leroy up on the stage. You know what I'm saying? So they all know each other. You know what I'm saying? It's real cool. But I read your book. It was fascinating. It was great to get all this extra insight. You never really know what's going on with the next person until you talk to them or you read their book. and on that note, Victor, I think I don't hear you. Victor, can you hear? Hey, Victor, can you hear me? Uh-oh.
He ain't saying nothing.
Oh, you can't hear nothing? Hey, log off and log back in and see if that'll fix you. Hey, Floyd, you see any issues on your end?
No, it's on him.
Hey.
Well, Sex Talk with Walk, 9 a.m. 9 p.m. Focus Up Network LLC. No, let me stop. I'm sorry.
Okay, so sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of text. See that we probably took too long to not, address his situation. But we're trying to get Victor back on. But hold on a second. Let's see.
My computer.
Not you. We already lost, El Poo, to internet connection. So we apologize that we're not at full strength. And we got the man, the myth, Floyd X coming in. So it's getting serious.
Hey, yeah, but he logged. Hopefully he'll log back in, and we can get bring him back. Let's move on to the next topic, and then we'll get back to his.
Okay, so that way, we're gonna have to switch a few topics to come back. So let's get over to the topic about the cooking. All right. So how important
is knowing how to cook?
That's right.
Here's the preface for that. A lot of women think they know how to cook, but you're not really that good. So I think it's very important to know how to cook. Okay, wait, hold on. We got to do one at a time. What's up? Is he back?
I'm back. I'm back.
Okay,
so
hey, let's stay on it. Let's stay on the
yeah. We'll come back to it. Let's talk about that. Let's talk. Yeah, we'll come. We're gonna reshuffle. So go ahead, Walk.
Okay, I think it's very important for a woman to know how to cook, and don't come with that. A man should cook too. No, we know traditional values, and traditionally, who does the cooking? It's the woman. Let's check this out. I'm a single man up in here. I be cooking, but I don't feel like I know how to cook. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking to my people. You gotta talk like that. But I'm not that good of a cook. I can prepare some meals and do what it do, but I don't throw down like my exes. I must say God has blessed me with all my exes. They cook their ass off. But yeah, it's very important.
Hey, First Lady, what's your take about that? Particularly him framing it about what a woman's responsibility.
Come on, brother. Stop explaining everything that happened.
To be honest, as a child, I was always taught a way through a man's heart is through his stomach. And I was told that it's important for us women to know how to cook. We don't have to be barefoot and pregnant all the time and just stand in the kitchen. But I do think it's very important for us to know how to cook. I won't just title it that it's a woman's job, but I feel like it is our responsibility to make sure that our family is fed, especially if the man is out there getting the bread and bringing it home so we can prepare the meal. And not only knowing how to cook, but you can know how to cook, but make sure the food is tasty and worth eating. And if you don't know how, then you need to learn. In school we used to have economics, home economics, different things, sewing classes. All of those things were implemented for a reason. Yes, it's okay. Men, they can get on the grill, do whatever. It's okay for men to learn how to cook. That's not a problem. But I'm a kind of like have to agree with Walk. It's not mandatory. It's not just so much as our job to do it, but we should be honored to cook and want to cook and know how to cook. For those of us that plan on having children, have daughters, it's something that you want to pass on. Those of us that celebrate holidays, you don't want to be sitting in there and having to give your family a cup of noodles or something because you want to have a beautiful spread and know how to cook. I think it's very imperative for every woman to cook and know how to cook and do it happily.
Hey, while we got Floyd X here, I gotta ask him because I know he's coming. He's got something on that traditional level to say about this.
Hey, when it comes to cooking, it is very important, particularly that the woman knows how to cook. And I say that because being a former member of the Nation of Islam, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that the woman is like the first doctor of the family. So when you are in that kitchen preparing food, you're not there just to make good food. You're not there to make some good tasting food. You're there to make some good, healthy food, because the food that you feed your children is going to help determine their health. So you need to know how to cook, the best ways to cook, the best meals to cook, and all that other thing, because you are, women, you are the first doctor in the family.
Doctor, teacher, nurse.
Where that horn? Where that horn?
No, see, if Pooh was here, we would have got a horn for that. That was some real. That was an okay self horn. That was an okay self horn incident. Hey, Victor, what's your take on that?
Yeah, it's definitely important for anyone to be able to cook. Now, from a traditional sense, I definitely agree. Definitely that's something I've emphasized with my daughter, just making sure that she can cook. But as a man, I could definitely cook. Matter of fact, I could actually cook my ass off myself. Mainly because the role I was in my family as the oldest, and I have younger siblings. But to come across like somebody, like a woman and she can't cook, that almost is definitely takes it down a couple of notches, I would assume, in the dating world. Like, I've been married for over 20 years.
She don't cook, she don't clean. But she don't tell you how she got this ring.
Yeah, that would be really odd, for me.
Let me tell you, look, check this out. Y'all know me. I'm out here. I'm in these streets every day. And when I was a young man dating about 2 years ago, I had a young lady was like, I'm a cook. My sons, I was a single dad. My sons was like 10 and 12. But she was like, I'm going to come over. I'm going to cook for y'all. And she, she came over and made some enchiladas. I'm like, I could have made that. I could have made some damn enchiladas. I was very disappointed in her. And obviously, she did not get the ring.
Hey, let me ask you, Walt, what was you expecting? What would have been a good meal?
I don't know, some mango chicken or something, something fly like a zucchini. I don't know, but I was not expecting no damn enchiladas, brother.
Enchiladas?
Because some enchiladas that's cooked right with the right size, that could be a good meal if she did it right.
Yeah,
I didn't say it was not good. Wait, hold on.
Listen,
wait. If I can make it, it's not that important to do. It's not a big deal what you did. You feel me? And I hope she ain't listening. She gonna be like, oh,
she did cook. You know how she didn't come and make you a hamburger or a cheeseburger. She didn't fry no fish sticks and French fries.
You just saying you wasn't
weenies.
You just saying you wasn't impressed.
I was not impressed. Thoroughly not impressed, my friend.
Well, my take on this is that, first of all, it's a great utensil to have in the tool set for a woman, for anybody. But you know, yeah, the mother is the nurturer, the first nurturer. It is kind of important, I think, for a woman to know how to cook, but I also think it's important for a man to know how to cook. I mean, it's important for you to know how to cook for yourself. But Floyd made the most important point. I feel like, look, it's not about just cooking something that's tasty. It's about cooking something that's healthy. It's about being responsible about what you bring into your house as far as groceries, you know, whether you're a candy person or not. All of this stuff is going to be impacting your children for the rest of your life. As we grow up, we realize that we can't eat all the same things we used to eat. And, you know, there's consequences and repercussions. So, you know, the reality is, you know, look, you need to know what to eat. You need to know how to eat. You need to know how to cook it. You need to know all of that. It's a great utensil.
You need to know who to eat too.
Next time for Walker we gave him a Thursday and he's still gonna bring it to the show.
Hey, it's bleeding over. It's bleeding over.
All right. So, anyways, let me get back to my brother Victor Freeman. So, this is a dude that I have the utmost respect for. I mean, you know, you can just tell by dialogue, by your interactions, where a dude is coming from. And I was very, you know, fascinated to acquire this book and read what was the process that basically led to you. So, you know, I appreciate the book. I got the book right here. Oh, you can't really see it because of my but welcome to the show, brother, again. And let me ask you, what is Bowen and why is that the title of the book?
All right, so Bowen is the name of the street that predominantly that I grew up on Staten Island in New York. So the building that you'll see in the front of the book is 55, and the street is Bowen. So it's a combination, really, of 55 Bowen being the street, and then the area in which the community is Park Hill. So if you're familiar with the Wu-Tang, specifically, you know, Method Man, U-Guard, Raekwon, as well as Deck, they all came up in the Park Hill section of Staten Island. So I wanted to have a title of a book that immediately resonated to my time in my youth, and that's why I went with Bowen.
I got you, brother. So what inspired you to write this book?
All right, yeah. So when I started professionally as a teacher, I taught in the Bronx at IS 162 on 149th and St. Anne's, and I was a young man, about 25 at the time. And one of the things, if anyone has been in the education field, is really trying to reach the children in one way or another. And I had a very unique ability to kind of reach those children, and I taught communications arts, which is basically English, and it was a really, really tough area of the Bronx. Matter of fact, it makes the area that I grew up look like Sesame Street. Across the street from the school I taught was a juvenile detention center, but I put my heart and soul in those kids as a teacher, and in that experience, I would have these engagements with them, and they would say, like, Mr. Freeman, you seem different than the other teachers, and you seem to really care. And it made me think to myself, you know, I probably should write a book. If the idea manifested during that time, that I should write about my time growing up, because I always emphasize to them, it's not about where you start, it's about how you finish. But making you know, the best decisions in the situations that you're in. So that's really where originally that the thought of writing Bowen came about, is out of, you know, my teaching experience in the Bronx.
Oh, I got you right there. Now this book is very candid about family members and abusive things that went down. So my question is, how has your family responded to that? Because I'm just telling you, you know, we're not trying to spoil the book, but I'm just telling you, this brother went through some things, and it's just, to me, that always be my concern. You know, the people are still alive. How would they take? Because you didn't pull too many punches.
No, I was very candid, and I did that intentionally because, you know, I had I suffered through some childhood trauma that that I still actually have to, deal with to this day. So, with that being said, yes, for some family members it was received well, very well, and others not so well. You know, there were family members who understood, what I've experienced, and others who kind of cherry picked and spent 252 pages kind of picking out everything that they rejected that I said critically about people, ignored anything positively that I said, and accepted anything negative that I said about myself, and made the entire account about them.
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah,
hear you. That's the thing about it. Go
when
ahead.
the book isn't about them, it's about me and about my experiences.
And that kind of goes into my next issue, because I was like, without spoilers, what's the main thing you want readers to get out of this book? And that sounds like what you were talking about. It's like it's not your story, it's my story. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead. What's the main thing that you want to communicate, or that you want them to get out of it?
And this is where it comes full circle. It's sort of like my time as a teacher. So it's just the fact that we all have these experiences, especially as we're coming up. This book covers me from 2 to about 18 years of age, which for all of us, those are very formative years. I want people to read it just to understand that, regardless of your circumstances, try to make the best out of your situation. Try to make the best decisions. And if you make the best decisions, and God willingly, things will work out in your favor. And it did for me. I'm standing in front of you as somebody who grew up in poverty, grew up in the projects, and I'm a regional manager at a pharmaceutical company right now with, undergraduate degree as well as a master's degree. And I came from 2 parents who are high school dropouts. So my story I think is one that should be out there just on the strength of that, on the fact that if there's a will, there's a way.
Oh, I hear you. No. You are definitely a success story, and everybody should go get this book. And where can they get this book?
Right now, you can get it on Amazon if you just put in Bowen, Bowen, and Victor Freeman on the website. It'll definitely come up. Barnes and Noble, as well as Kindle. There's a couple of others, like Target sometimes has it as well, but primarily those are the best sites to actually obtain it.
Now, before I take us to the next thing, anybody had anything they wanted to say? Because I'm about to transition onto something. Because see, one of the things that I got out of the book, we're talking about, blended families. We're talking about, not everybody grows up in a conventional mother, father, children type situation. A lot of times, like even in my situation, my 2 nieces, they lived with us. I mean, we kind of raised them as our daughters for a nice long stretch. So, I mean, you have these type of situations, and some of these situations are not ideal at all. Some of these situations can be very abusive situations, because you have jealousy, you have, all type of issues that come into play. And that's kind of a topic that we're going to talk about. We want to talk about how these situations can basically end up into kind of wild domestic abuse and violence, And we have a survivor on the show that brought up a point. And First Lady, you have any information you want to start off with or talk about that?
Oh, you caught me off guard.
Oh, sorry. Well, I didn't mean, because you brought it up. Because I mean, but you know what? Let me.
I'll go ahead.
Okay.
I can kind of relate about violence within the family. I've experienced it myself, especially with the blended father families. I had a stepfather that came into the home, and he was very abusive to my mother. And violence in the family is either going to break you or make you. And for me, it had me broken for a minute, but it also strengthened me. Not only was he abusive, but his daughter was abusive. And I was very young. So every time that he would fight my mom, I had to fight the daughter. And not
Yikes.
only that, was the dad became abusive to me and his own daughter as well. And I didn't share it with my mom because I was afraid that he was going to end up killing her or hurting her. I didn't realize how young my mom was either at the time. And the men in our family will go after him and attack him for laying hands on her. There were times in the winter time when my mom would come up to the school to get me with sunglasses on, trying to hide her bruises and things of that nature. And it was making me abusive towards my stepsister, because she thought it was funny, and that was something that she was
Yikes.
used to, and it was not something that I was used to. And I felt like I was the loving type, not the fighting type. So she would put me in 2 milk crates and sit on top of me while I'm in the crate, so I couldn't get out to go protect my mom. And I became violent with her. I started taking my nails and just scraping her face and pulling the skin off of her face when they would get into it. And I didn't realize the guy was that much older than my mom, but I also at the time didn't know that he was taking pills, Black Mollies or whatever you want to call it. So, and my mom was like the breadwinner at the time. And when I say young, I was young and experiencing these things. This man used to, when my mom was gone, he would get mad at me and his daughter and make me, my parents never, let me be very clear, my parents have never laid a hands on me a day in my life while they were here, my biological parents. He robbed me of calling my own dad daddy, because I didn't feel like that's what a dad was. That's what a father is supposed to do. And especially to his children, he would make me and his daughter hold on to a doorknob and beat the crap out of us. Not only that,
God,
he
that's
would
crazy.
pinch us and tear our skin off. And when my mom come home, I would act like everything is normal because I didn't want him to put his hands on her.
I think that's where we trying to go with it, as far as how you say you acting like everything is normal. We experience these this violence within the family, and then we still got to go out into the world and be ready for the fight out there. So I think
And
that's where we
it's not easy. It's
no.
not easy because you're fighting multiple battles, but it taught me this is what I don't want from my family. I don't want to have to call the uncles in the family to come beat. And then as a woman, when you're weakened and you going back into
All
there,
right.
dealing with it. But yeah, it's a lot that you have to
So
deal with.
yeah, so brother, Mr. Freeman, as far as encouraging you or motivating you to write this book and speak on that situation, was that like therapy for you?
Yes, matter of fact, it's helped in terms of so again, similar to like what Lady J is actually speaking on was when you go through certain things, you do have like triggers, and what the book has done for me is it enabled me to kind of put away a lot of these demons that I was carrying, so to say. So, there's so many things that kind of bring me down maybe a dark path, so to say. And when I was able to write about it, it felt like a huge release for myself. So, and the way I carry myself or even project myself, a lot of people were completely unaware that I had endured so many different things, and I was very intentional about that. And
To me, that's really the big thing right there, because you just never know what's going on in the next person's house. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you go to school and you kind of project your own situation on the next person. But I mean, I had a friend that, I went to school with, and his, I won't say his stepfather, but it was his mother's father. I mean, he was like really abusive. Now, he wasn't physically abusive, but he was like oppressive abusive. Like, as a punishment, he would do stuff like make him wear the same outfit for like a whole month. And wow. Yeah, that's like tough, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm saying, First Lady, you about to say something?
No, you make a good point because, like Mr. Freeman, I have been writing my story as well. And I made it very clear to my family and other people about the violence that's going to be exposed. And what I say, you made a very good point because my book is going to be titled Don't Talk About My Day If You Don't Know About My Midnight, because you don't know what happens in the dark.
So,
I know
let me
as
also
me.
expand on another point. And I don't want to reveal too much with the book. There are moments in there where I am helped by certain people, and not just family, but also friends. And where people get lost in when they kind of view you and you've experienced certain things that have been traumatic and have been traumatizing, they may feel that because they provided some sort of help that sort of like had righted the entire ship, or it magically makes everything that you endure go away. But it's a very short-sighted way of viewing that, because you still have that entire baggage. Are you thankful that a person may have provided you help and assisted you? Absolutely. You'll never forget those people as well. But it doesn't take away all the trauma that you experience. You will live with that through the rest of your entire life, and you have to learn ways to really manage it. Fortunately,
Hey, Walk, hold on a second. Hey, go ahead, Walk. What were you about to say?
Yeah.
Walk.
Yeah.
Oh no, I mean, I was the youngest boy out of my whole family. I had 3 older brothers, and then out of all my cousins, they was over eating a girl. Everybody was kicking my ass.
Right.
I got trauma too. But you know, the way I project it out now, that's why I'm always wanting to fight and ready to fight right now, because I'm like, I'm big now. I got that fade.
No, I hear you. We all got coping mechanisms, one way or another. And then we also have things that trigger us, man. And we have to figure out the things that kind of settle us down and bring us back. The writing helped, volunteering definitely helped. I was a football player. I was a Division I football player. When I finished, playing ball, I got into coaching. I'm a member of Omega Psi Phi. So as a fraternity, community service has helped. But again,
so let me ask you: within this book, do you express or get to the root cause of why it happened, and do you explore? I know you talk about what with your coping mechanisms and things like that, but do you explore as what could have prevented it and things of that nature? Like
we can prevent it. What the things that were traumatic or
violence.
The violence can make. Some things were preventable, and some was just the nature of the environment. All right. So I'll share this, and this is something no matter, especially since we're all around the same age. The '80s, as if we remember, correctly, the way crack and cocaine hit our communities throughout the entire nation was very severe, and that was a time where if you weren't well grounded, or if you weren't a person that had like a strong support system, it was really easy for you to succumb to the ills of what was forming all around us. And us being born in the 70s and seeing what life was like, and then you get to the 80s, and 80s was like, okay, and then boom, this whole thing just kind of hit our communities. It impacted everybody, especially us as Black and brown people, and in that, and your question, Floyd, is like, could it have been avoided? Well, with crack and cocaine at that time, you couldn't avoid that. But to have somebody that maybe like see you going off a forbidden path and be in your corner, there probably were people that could have assisted, but unfortunately they didn't. And sometimes it's because of self preservation.
And I think in a lot of those situations is because some people don't really know exactly what's going on. Like, for example, you can stay with some family, but they don't necessarily know how bad it is in this other situation. So things don't get addressed, you know, and then, not everybody's got all the resources to support everybody. So, I mean, you know, there's a lot of family members making hard decisions about who they can support and who they can help. But I mean, you know, I'm just throw this out here. I watched one of these shows. My wife watches these terrible shows on A&E, but they're good to watch just because they remind you how bad humanity is. And it was a situation where this mother was just like really abusive to her children. And she would just lash out on them for just whatever, just extra out. And at one point, she, mortally wounded one of her kids. So what they did is she literally had the oldest kid stick this kid in a freezer so she wouldn't get in trouble. So they moved on. They were continuing to go on with life for like maybe a year or so with this kid in the freezer. And then another kid was cutting up, acting up, ended up killing that same kid, sticking him in the exact same freezer. And it was a situation where the mother was abusive, but the sister of the mother was like compassionate. And had she had known, she was like, had I known that my nieces were going through that type of stuff, I would have took them away from that. But, they just don't want to say nothing. And they don't, because children just bite their lips about these type of things. And that's kind of like the big issue. We need to make it comfortable for children to speak out about the terrible things that they may be dealing with on a day-to-day basis. So, I mean, that's where I'm going with that.
So interesting enough.
Hold on a second, Freeman. Go ahead. What were you about to say, Walt?
What's up?
There was, excuse me, brother. There was this situation where, like, we had a cousin, and everybody, our uncle said that he tried to kill him because he walked in and he tried to electrocute him or something. That's what he said about our cousin. But when we grew up, my cousin was living with me, and he told what really happened. He said that he used to get his butt whooped, and then when my uncle would go to work, he would cut off all the power in the house. So they didn't have no power. Him and his brother, they'll be there with no power. So they rigged up a wire, an extension cord, and then he came home suddenly, and it was a janky cord, and my uncle stepped on it with his work boots, and he said, "Oh, he was trying to kill me," and beat the hell out of my cousin. Like, I told my brothers and my cousins this story because we, as kids, we thought like, "Oh, my cousin, he tried to kill his daddy." But when I tell that story like that right now, they was like, "Damn, that makes sense." As grown-ups, we look at it different. But back then we was like, "Oh, you tried to kill your father." But he was going through a lot of trauma with his father getting beat, like he would make him take his clothes off and beat the hell out of him. So we all go through violence and trauma as kids, but nothing like me when I got my ass kicked by my big cousins and girls and the boys was beating my little ass. Not cool, Floyd X.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta.
So what were you saying, Vic?
Yeah, I was gonna say, interesting enough, Mr. Nice Guy, and with my book, the majority of it can actually be corroborated by family members, teachers, coaches, friends, and the most intimate moments by my sisters. Now, to everybody's point here, like sometimes people think they know, but they don't really know. But most of those intimate moments are really only shared by myself and my sisters who are greatly impacted by this. So it's funny, there's a good percentage of this book that 85% of the people reading that will be able to look at and go like, yeah, I remember this moment. And matter of fact, I've had people call me and say like, wow, that's crazy that you remembered every detail of that. But then there's that other 15%, which is really what is really heavy, that the other 85% that really didn't see, and how I was like severely impacted. So it is a unique thing where people may perceive and think that they know really what's going on, but they really don't.
You just never know what the next person is struggling with. You got anything else more to say about that, Brother Floyd?
Yeah, just violence. Just say no to violence.
Say no to violence.
Say no to violence. You know,
And don't go to Mexico.
And don't go to Mexico.
Since you bring that up, how do you feel about that, Mr. Freeman? About
what?
Hey,
about
hey,
that
they
trip?
love this. This is in their mind their one great victory over me, so they're gonna pound the chest on this one. But
One great way. This is
Well, what y'all talking about? What y'all talking about?
No, don't recircle that
I'm
one.
good. All right. Hey, let's do it. Let's do the shout outs real quick. Let's do the
oh
shout outs.
goodness, sorry about that. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Jay Walk, you got shout outs, brother? You gonna click off. I know it.
He did this last time he
shout
came
out.
back though. So
Shout out to La Brea Trucking, long-time supporter. Shout out to Muhammad Smeets, Pauls, long-time supporter. Our brother out there in Oakland doing this thing. Shout out to the Wakusu group. Wake up, clean up, stand up. That's myself and Mr. Brother Maurice X. And who else we got?
Homies Way Car Club,
Shout out to the Homies Way Car Club.
Buddy Bud Music,
Buddy Bud.
Kilo 2. He got a new project out. It's tight. He hit me up like, because I always get the notification. I check it out on YouTube, and then he called me, text me like, you heard? I'm like, I'm gave you your first like, bro. Yeah, salute Kilo 2.
salute.
I don't have the list, man. Did we leave out some people? But yeah. And if you don't come on the show, you ain't get no like. What was that? You ain't get no like, you ain't get no shout out. Because we right now, I'm checking the views. We got 1.5 million views on this show, baby. Listen, manifestation.
Yep,
Hey, that's funny. Go ahead. I was gonna say that's funny because when you bring that up about the rapping, Victor Freeman is another one of those age brothers on your position walk. So you know he agrees with you about these old rappers.
Oh, yes, smart guy.
You're not gonna have me go down that path, Mr. Nice Guy. I reveal something to you or something. I can't talk on this show.
Yeah, we can't talk about that particular. I'm just talking about the whole concept of that. Once you get a certain age, you know. And I was just and you know he brought up a good point. And to me, I want to bring this up to sort of like kind of give Walk some dap on this because he was saying that because I was saying that. You know, I always talk about the Funky Chicken, the Rufus Thomas, or whatever, I forget what his name is, but he was an old cat, you know, still doing hits, you know, Aretha Franklin, you know, but like he said, you know, these people are already established. So it's one thing for the heads, you know, if KRS-One drops something or whatever, but he's talking about is if you're trying to start, you know, it's a young man's game, you know what I'm saying? And you know what, Walk? You're right about that. But if you're doing your thing, like these brothers, if you're doing your thing, like, you know, like Born Alive, who's been keeping it down the whole time, then you salute and you do that thing because I love and support all of his stuff. I mean, that brother is doing it. I'm living vicariously through him, you know, doing hip hop from the circle. So I appreciate it. So much respect to those old heads still doing it.
Yeah,
damn.
Yeah. Let's get into some small talk about what's going on in the news. Did y'all hear about that story in Oklahoma where this Caucasian lady was attacked by someone's pet monkey that got loose?
No.
I'm laughing. Wait, I don't mean to laugh, but y'all better not play that. Was that a real story? Was he was eating air for real?
He wasn't eating
Dude,
the air.
They one monkey's ate homegirl's fate off. I mean, she got ripped her whole face off. Those things are like savage.
Yeah, they're strong.
The chimpanzees, them chimpanzees. Hey, leave them not the right pets. Like Walk, he got all type of exotic pets. This brother got a chinchilla walking around somewhere. You know what I'm saying? But you know, don't be grabbing no chimpanzees, man.
wait, see, look at this video. They showed this video like the thing was eating the ear. That got to be a joke.
Hey, but it's a monkey on the porch. I'm kind of feeling some type of way about that.
The monkey was just out and about. Man, the monkey on your porch, and you look at him, he's so small, you're thinking, oh, he's harmless. That sucker yanked her ear off.
Damn.
Ooh. Stuff, man. Just yanked her ear off like it was nothing.
Hey, That wouldn't have been a black person. We scared of squirrels. I see a squirrel. I'm like, hey, watch out, homie. That looks like
Much less a
Damn.
monkey, right? But
right. What's up? Out of here.
All right,
Yeah.
man. And so in other news,
Oh yeah, Trump getting arrested. Yeah, he's allegedly. We'll see how that plays out. I don't know. That dude's kind of a Teflon Don. Until it happens, I ain't gonna believe it.
yeah.
Right, exactly. I agree with you on that one, brother. I don't think he's gonna get arrested. Yeah.
Man. Okay.
But it's supposed to be happening. It's supposed to be coming down. But I think it's like more of a minor charge. But I mean, at the end of the day, they got Al Capone on, tax evasion. They couldn't get him on all the juicy stuff, but they got him.
Is this for Atlanta or New York?
I think this is New York. Actually, I don't want to speak on that because I remember they were talking about. They were saying like this is not the big charges, but this is something that will probably hold up, and we'll see. So they say that equal under the law, so he shouldn't get any extra accommodation. But like I said, until we see it, I mean that dude has been able to do all type of stuff. This whole January 6th thing, if that had been Black Lives Matter, it'd have been a massacre.
Yep. Sure. I mean, and it's like, truth be told, man, ain't nothing they could lie to us all day, all they want. Ain't nothing gonna happen to them. They showing it every day. You look at that situation with Fox News, all those news anchors lying about this, lying about Trump. And behind the scenes, they texted, man, Trump is dumb as hell. Look at this dumbass lawyer he bringing to the show, but we got to bring him on for our viewers. And they just bring him on the show because they were scared of losing to these other more independent news companies.
And just get in front of the camera, just straight front. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. And they still talking about, oh, you cherry picking our comments. These are your comments.
Yeah. And I mean, they got caught lying. They not admitting. They just don't say nothing. They keep doing the news as usual. You still could turn on TV and see Hannity, see that the fucking
Laura Ingham, whatever her name is, and Tucker Carlson. He's the worst.
It's fucking Carlson. And I mean, it's ridiculous for them to I don't know. Is they got followers, people gonna continue to watch it, and they could just lie to us, and people count on the news to be truthful and accurate when that's not the case.
For sure.
Yep.
Hey, my favorite meme was sitting there when they said Fox News is done to our parents what our parents said gangster rap would do to us. I mean, that's a salute. That's like for real, because I mean, it's like my father. We can't even really deal with him because of Fox News on a personal level. I mean, he's not crazy like that. He understands that how their racism and all this other stuff. He's accepting all that other stuff. But when they're just talking about Trump, I mean, he got the glasses on. He can't see the forest for the trees about that dude.
Oh man, that's rough. That's your pops is like that.
This is just it's that's tough. Oh, but hey, trust me, my whole family, my mom is just like she just like feels completely oppressed. She's just like, I don't want to have don't bring his name up, don't whatever, you know what I'm saying? So it'd be an issue, but yeah, that's just how it is. Fox News, man.
All right. Well, hey, Mr. Freeman, thank you for joining our show today. Good to hear your story, and I'm interested in getting that book, checking it out.
You got anything in the works, Mr. Freeman?
Yes, I'm going to come out with another project sometime this year, possibly completing it by 2024. But this will be a fictional book and not and not a nonfiction take. This is something that I initially thought about writing before actually doing Bowen. So I'll give you a teaser. It's about a boxer who comes from a pretty rough area, and I know it kind of sounds like Rocky and all of this stuff, but it's really like it's a different story. Kind of it talks more. It's less about the boxing aspect. It's more like how he was raised by immigrant Haitian and Haitian and Caribbean family. And just kind of some of those dynamics that kind of come and growing up, and then being steered away from athletics.
So we don't want to give away too much about it. So,
I'm giving away too much for
look
it,
forward
but
to
that's what
it,
my project's
brother.
going to be on.
All right. Well, thank y'all for joining the show. Anybody else got anything they want to say before we get out of here?
Free tax stone.
Hey, write those books, do that stuff. We got another author on the shore, First Lady J. So that's for real. Black people, let your voices be heard in all the mediums, not just the regular mediums.
That's right.
Yeah, just definitely want to thank all of you guys for giving me this platform and forum. Mr. Nice Guy, Floyd, Walk, Lady J. It's been a pleasure.
All right, thank you.
All right, peace, brother.
Have a good one. We out.
Salute.
All right.
Peace.